Thank you all. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Jennifer Dantzler, and I'm the Executive Director and Founder of InspireND, formerly known as Including Kids, which you may have heard. We've been around for about 22 years, serving children, adolescents, and adults on the autism spectrum. A little bit about me. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst or licensed behavior analyst in the state of Texas. I did found InspireND. I was a special ed certified teacher in my previous life. I'm very involved in a lot of active communities in the world of autism and applied behavior analysis. It's the mission of InspireND to create truly inclusive communities for people with neurodiversity through education and engagement. I see a lot of very familiar faces in the audience. I know it's been a little confusing over the last few years. What in the world is Jennifer Dantzler doing, and what's Including Kids? What's InspireND? Where's their building? What's going on? We do have a video on our website that tries to summarize the last 22 years if you'd like to watch it. But in simplest terms, think about it that the first 22 years, we focused on educating people on the autism spectrum on how to be included in their community. What we're now flipping to, with autism now affecting 1 in 31 people, we are now flipping to helping educate the community as to how to include our people with autism and other neurodiversities into the community. When I was first in the field, autism affected 1 in 10,000 people. So it now affects 1 in 31. So I cannot serve 1 in 31 children with autism, which means this is where you all get involved. This is where we as a community have to come together to figure out how to be that place that truly includes and supports people with neurodiversities. So at InspireND, we have sort of 2 pillars, education and engagement. Education, we will do workshops. We will go anywhere for anyone and do any workshop, whether it comes to talking about specifically about autism, neurodiversity. We are hearing that term a lot more now. It actually has been around since the 90s, but it started getting more popular. When the DSM-5 came out, they took away the term Asperger's syndrome and lumped it in with autism. So now you have high-functioning autism to more profound autism and everything in between. At that point, some people started saying, I don't know that I really like being labeled. If I'm a very high-functioning person on the spectrum, getting my PhD in neuroscience, and maybe just have a few troubles with social skills, and you're putting me as the same label as maybe a 22-year-old nonverbal person who is not toilet trained and headbangs all day, right? And so what we've also realized with neurodiversity is if we program for things like autism in our workplace, in our churches, in our gymnastics classes, that also helps our other neurodiversities like ADHD, Tourette syndrome, neurological learning challenges. So if we just start to think outside of the box as to how we all learn and think differently, we will be a much more successful community. You will see on your tables, we have some fidget toys and little stickers that you can put on your phone to rub. The whole point is if you take someone with ADHD, they have to be doing something else in order to focus on you. Well, we want to make that so normalized that that's in the C-suite executive offices, because if that's going to help someone channel their energy and creativity, why wouldn't we do it? So what we're really trying to do is educate the community. If you know a first responder, please, please, please pass on my information. We have a very, very strong passion to help support and educate our first responders. Let's be honest, a 19-year-old person walking down the street with only their boxers on, with their hands flailing in the air, talking to themselves, it is very hard for a first responder to determine, is that someone who's had a psychotic break? Is that someone that's having a medication interaction incident? Is that someone who's autistic? The problem is you kind of handle those differently. And unfortunately, recently we've had way too many traumatic incidents with people with autism that didn't need to go that way. Most recently, a young man named Victor Perez, who was in his yard having a meltdown with his family, and a neighbor thought that he was drunk and psychotic. They called the police. The police shot and killed him. Even though the parents were saying, he's autistic, please, we've got this. And so there's a lot we need to do, because for our first responders, I can't imagine having to make that split-second decision. But the good news is we can help give them some tips and tricks and teach them how to recognize signs of autism. So we'll do first responder trainings. We just did a caregiver training last week for anyone who might want to be a caregiver. Autism is pretty isolating. And so anyone who's willing to go be a caregiver and help give parents breaks, we can help train you as to know what to expect. And then we also do engagement activities in the community. We do our Halloween Boo Bash. We do pictures with Santa. We do all kinds of fun events that are very neurodiverse friendly. We have neurodiverse friendly bingo over at Tin Roof a couple times a year. So a lot of just ways to truly make our community inclusive. As I mentioned with first responder training, there is a bill out there right now that I don't think quite passed this year, but I will get it passed, HB 2929, that actually proposes there be mandatory first responder training every year. So obviously you can tell I feel very passionate about that one. So if you know first responders, let's get ahead of the game and let's start doing the training now before it's even required. Let's be proactive. Okay, neurodiversity in the workplace. Neurodiversity affects 1 in 4 people. So I bet to say in all your businesses, you have someone who's neurodiverse or multiple people who are neurodiverse. They maybe just didn't self-disclose that they were neurodiverse because there might not be the psychological safety. So one of the things that we love to do is go in and help you if you already have people with neurodiversity. Again, what are simple things like having fidget toys out, like taking breaks every 20 to 30 minutes in a meeting, like having an agenda for a meeting, having job descriptions written down so that we know what to expect. But guess what? When you do these things for your people with neurodiversity, it makes your company better all around. You'd be surprised. I'm not going to make you raise your hands, but I bet there are a few in this audience that don't even have job descriptions written down for your employees, and you're wondering why performance isn't as good as it could be. But we're not even really sure what we're supposed to be doing with our jobs. So again, 20 to 30% of the people in the workforce are neurodiverse. The best part, 96% of people with neurodiversity are retained. There's a loyalty, there's a commitment there. Who doesn't want 96% retention rate, right? Teams are 30% more productive if they have neurodiverse people on their team because there's creativity, there's energy, there's thinking outside of the box. Sometimes they're saying what needs to be said, but everyone's afraid to say it. But my neurodiverse person, they'll say it. Right? The problem is 80% of people, specifically on the autism spectrum, are unemployed or underemployed. This is a problem. So your companies have pain points. You can't fill positions. We have this whole population who are extremely smart and gifted in a lot of different ways. It just might not look similar to you and I. And we can close that gap. We can fill these positions, but don't rate them on their eye contact and handshake the first time you see them. That's not going to tell you whether or not they can do the job well for you. So we can come in and help you look at your organization, help you talk about your interview process, help you be a very supportive, inclusive environment. I do have a podcast. All of you get out your phones and QR code that. My cards are also on the counter, on the tables. We have a podcast where it's literally parents, self-advocates, professionals in the field. I have so many people from the last 30 years that want to share their story, lessons learned for new parents, so many things that want to be shared. So I decided to create a platform to help these people share. So if you yourself have a story you want to share about autism or neurodiversity, please do. And then if you really want to help support an amazing organization, you can sponsor an episode, get your name out there, and help us tell some amazing stories. So if you would like to sponsor an episode, you can please reach out to us. And then lastly, this year was the first year we did World Autism Day appreciation baskets, and it was kind of funny. Thank you to Humble Lions because they supported us being able to create the baskets, but on World Autism Day, April 2nd, all we did was just give out baskets of love to people who supported people on the autism spectrum. People didn't quite believe us. They're like, what's the catch? There's no catch. If you are an autism hero, you deserve to be loved. So next year when you see this come around, nominate someone, nominate a teacher, nominate a parent of someone on the spectrum, nominate a grandparent, nominate a babysitter. Just nominate someone. All we're trying to do is just give back to those who help support our people on the autism spectrum. These are some of the baskets, some of the fun times that we had. Upcoming events, Taste of the Town. Miss Erica, she's incredible with that event. September 11th this year at the Humble Civic Center. And you come in, one ticket price, incredible food, incredible vendors, a lot of fun. And then we do have our tennis tournament coming up also. Lastly, I will come do presentations, keynote speeches. Again, I will come in and help. We just need to really get louder about neurodiversity, what it is not, and how we can truly become an inclusive community. So with that said, there is my contact information. Thank you so much.